The last speaker before the pre-lunch session has more than 16 years of experience in banking, wealth management and distribution management. His specialities are private banking and wealth management, branch banking and distribution management. As far as his corporate experience is concerned, he has been a vice president and branch manager at HSBC. He has also been an area manager at Citibank India. Please join me and our director in welcoming the regional head at HR Bank at HDFC Bank, Mr. Amit Marathe.
First and foremost, you will have to bear with me for 15-20 minutes. I know even I am hungry, but I'll try and keep it as short as possible. And I want all of you to take active interest in the presentation. It's not going to be a monologue. I want everybody to interact. And it is, the two sessions, one before lunch and the one immediately after lunch, are very challenging for you as well as for us. So I'll try and keep it to the point. Okay. Thanks for this opportunity. Till now you must have heard a lot of HR specialists speak about HR and what all HR can do. Okay, I am going to look at this from a business perspective, because any of you who is either going to be in marketing, finance, okay, you will be on the business side of any organization. Who all is specializing in HR here? Okay, the biggest challenge in front of you will be that you will have to make yourself relevant to business. Okay, what happens is that when you are a HR person, the biggest thing you can do for the organization is by putting yourself in the shoes of the business person. Okay, the more you look at an organization from the business perspective, okay, the more successful you will be. Because I have seen in my last 15-16 years that HR, if not, if HR doesn't stay in touch with business, then it becomes secondary or a supportive function. And if HR plays an active role in helping business to do better, then HR becomes more of a core function. So if you look at, I'll stick to this. I think. If you look at performance appraisal and how to retain top performers, okay, this is the biggest challenge that today, at least I can speak for the banking and financial services industry, because I come from the banking industry. The biggest challenge today is to, how to ensure that your organizational objectives are met, how to ensure that there is very little attrition. There was some speaker, Mr. Ambedkar, who said that you have to spend 2 years with a bank or with an organization and then the industry will be after you. Okay, that is a big challenge for me, because when I recruit MTs, okay, the biggest challenge for me is to ensure that the management trainees continues to be with the bank. And in HDFC Bank, what we have seen is that management trainees who have stuck with the bank for 8-10 years, okay, they have all done well. Okay, majority of them started with salaries of 6 lakhs per annum. Okay, today they are earning 60, 80, 90 lakh rupees per annum. Those kind of, that kind of money they are earning in 7-8 years. So the point I am trying to make is that while there is every reason for you to change your organization, there is also every reason for you to be patient. Okay, no place is going to be perfect. The way this management college may have certain things which you like, they may not have certain things which you, are to your liking. So, but you can't change the college because you are signed up for 2 years. So similarly, when you enter a job, try and be patient, try and understand what is in it for you, try and understand what the organization is looking in terms of its own expansion plans, in terms of its own stability. If you think that the organization that you have joined is reasonably sound and is in line with what you want to do, then just for a 25-30% hike, don't keep changing organizations, because what we have seen is that if you stick to a particular organization, eventually you will be able to not just go to the level that you aspire to go to, but you will also maybe earn much more than people who have changed jobs. Okay, so I'll just come to my first slide. My first slide talks about my first slide talks about, when you look at this simple, flow chart, it talks about an employee, it talks about optimum performance from an employee, it talks about alignment of that performance with organizational objectives. So all these 4 things a business manager has to look at. He has to look at an employee, he has to ensure that the employee's performance is optimum. He has to ensure that while the performance might be optimum, it is aligned with the organizational objectives. So for example, you have to ensure that you pay attention to process, you have to ensure that you pay attention to audit, You can't ignore process and audit and focus only on sales. If you do it at your own and your employees' peril. So as far as a bank is concerned, we have to ensure that the bank's objectives, be it external objectives, be it internal objectives, are met. My next slide, please. Okay, I have to. Okay, this is the 4-quadrant approach. This is something which many organizations adopt. Okay, when we do performance appraisal, okay, we look at what are the 4 quadrants which are going to make a difference when we appraise an employee. So the base of this quadrant is the customer quadrant. Normally in banking or any service industry, if you take care of your customers, okay, it's not just a customer service, it is also ensuring that you are able to provide and proactively understand the customer's requirements. At the end of the day, banks are always partners in growth. Okay, so our core role is to be partners in growth with our customers. And so basically, as an employee of a bank, your first quadrant which you need to pay attention to is your customer quadrant. You also have to equally pay attention to learning and development, because today the world is dynamic. Even in MBA, for example, when you are there, only those students will do well who are able to keep in touch with what is happening in the industry, who are genuinely interested in trying to be dynamic, who are not afraid of change. Okay. Something which I firmly believe in is that when I was doing my MBA, the difference between people who were doing well and people who probably were not doing that well was those who were able to identify, what is the direction they need to take in advance. So you need to try and, I don't know how many of you read Economic Times on a daily basis, but that's something which you should do. Something which is very basic, that will help you to understand, what is happening in terms of the economy, what is happening in terms of the expectations that industry has. Okay, there was an article in between where banks, for example, are using fancy designations to keep their employees motivated. So point is that you should not get fooled by a designation. What you should focus on is that what is the quality of work that you are doing. Okay, you may be a vice president and the quality of work you may be doing may not be great. It may be something which is not something which anybody may enjoy doing. And you may be a senior manager, but you may be doing much better than what a VP in a particular XYZ bank is doing. So don't focus on designations. Focus on what is the role, what is the crux of the matter that you are expected to do. If your role is meaningful, if what job you are doing is making a difference to the organization, money will come. Money will flow. You will get much more than what you expect. But focus on the quality aspect. Don't focus on things which look very good from outside. Okay. The third thing is business processes. This is again something which is very boring when you are in business. Nobody wants to look at, for example, in banking, nobody wants to really pay attention to customer files. Nobody wants to really look at, preparation for an audit. But always, there is one very favorite line which I always keep sharing with my team, that the price of discipline is always lesser than the pain of regret. So you must have seen that students who consistently prepare, okay, agar exam April, May mein hai, people who start from October, November, the probability of them doing well is going to be highest. Okay, and it's not that it's not about topping your class. It is about ensuring that you really study. Okay, it is not that you are just trying to by heart and go and apply. If you really take interest in the subject, what you are doing, try and understand what is expected out of you, and at all levels, be it school, something which I have picked up, which I want to share with all of you, is that if anybody is doing well in class, try and, strike a natural friendship with that person. Okay, because what happens is people who are good tend to pick up from each other, and each and every person progresses. Okay, you will have a lot of time for fun and games in life. Okay, but right now at this age you need to focus on what is critical for your well-being. Okay, you will get time to enjoy, you will get time to have fun with your friends, your family, but this is not the time to look at work-life balance. This is the time to look at only work and of course sports, because that will keep you fit. Okay, but other than these two things, try and avoid all other time wasters for the next 10 years at least. Okay, then you can, as you mature, as you grow older in your jobs, you will know how to manage work life, how to prioritize. Okay, financial quadrant, it is the most important quadrant. Though customer quadrant is the base, financial quadrant will decide as to whether that employee is financially relevant or not to an organization. So normally someone who does well in the customer and financial quadrant okay, it is natural that he will do well in the learning and development quadrant, because without process and learning and development you can't do well in the other two quadrants. So all these four quadrants are important when you look at starting off in a job, and irrespective of whether you are in a business role or you are in any role, even in HR for example, the business is your internal customer. So whether you are able to really take care of your internal customer or not is what you need to ask yourself. Just to put that. Performance appraisal. For example, I think it is relevant in colleges also, that when you are giving feedback to students, the typical mistake that organizations make is they appraise a performance at the end of the year. Okay, and an employee is often surprised that I thought I was doing quite well and I am not happy with the rating you are giving me. Okay, I thought that I am absolutely at the top of my game and I am very disappointed with the increment that I have got. And this is when attrition happens. This is when the entire hard work that the team has put in goes for a toss. So something which we do and which I primarily really believe in is that when you are managing a team, okay, ensure that there are no surprises. Okay, ensure that you are reviewing performance very regularly. Every quarter you do a performance appraisal where the objectives that are, or whatever are the goals that are set for the employee, he needs to know well in advance and throughout the year whether he is going in the right direction or not. Okay, so if there is any course correction required, he has time to do that. Okay, you can't catch him napping, or you can't tell him something when he has very little time to do things. Okay, I have in my previous 15-16 years, I have noticed that organizations have been very, very patient with people. They have given them a lot of time. Okay, but when it comes to appraisal, there is very little patience. Okay, so point is that you need to be with your employee in terms of expectation management. If you can handle this properly, I think you will have a lot many happy employees, a lot many employees who are satisfied. They will not be surprised by what you are telling them. So for example, if you see, we have unit tests, we have semesters, we have again a unit test and again a semester. Why are there 4 or 5 exams in a year? Okay, they are there because it gives you an understanding of in which direction you are moving. The professor also comes to know which are the students who are progressing in the right direction, and that gives him time to do course correction. Similarly for you, it gives you an understanding of what are the things which you need to introspect on and change. Okay. Okay, this is something which I personally don't like, but many organizations use this bell curve to force fit employees. So if you see the right hand side of the curve, there is a very 1/3 of the portion which is shown here, which is kept for top performers. Okay, now basically if you do your performance appraisal well, if you do your talent management well, okay, it will help you to automatically retain your top performers, which can be seen in this bell curve. Normally, what are the things that an organization does to retain top employees? Okay, certain common things which any leading organization will do is they will look at career progressions. So career progression is very well defined in good quality organizations, where an employee knows that boss, if he does 1, 2, 3, 4 things, this is what he can expect in 2 years or 3 years. Okay, there are promotions which are very clearly well defined, so people are aware that if he takes certain steps and if he improves himself in certain areas, he can get promoted. There are country talent pools, okay, where top performing employees are identified and put in the talent pool, and a specific focus is made in ensuring that these employees are groomed for leadership roles. Then there are, of course, nominations to MDPs. There are ESOPs. Okay, for example, in HDFC Bank, ESOP is used as a key tool to retain talent. And honestly, it is something which becomes a very, very big hook for retaining top performers. Top performers can't leave an organization if the stakes are very high. So ESOPs is again something which is used very, very smartly by organizations to keep top performers within there's freedom within boundaries. Other things are club memberships and mediclaims and all are things which are quite common, which are available. Family mediclaims are given to top performers. Club memberships are given to top performers. So idea is that if you see here, for example, whoever is doing well, okay, there is a lot of effort that the organization will take to retain them. So what you need to focus on is just ensure that you are in the top 10-15% of the group. And it is not easy because, as I said, at all levels there will be force fitting. In college, in organizations, for promotions, you will compete with 4 other people who will be there in your department. But remember one thing, that if you are aligned to the objectives of the organization and people who matter, okay, there is a very high probability that you will grow. So there might be 2 people who have performed at the same level, but someone who is able to show a more all-round alignment to the organization will be the one who will be normally chosen. Someone earlier speaker spoke about politics and about the dirty bad corporate world. I don't think you should pay attention to that. These are things which are beyond your and my control. Okay, you should just focus on what you can do. Okay, and for every bad person in an organization, there is a good person. Always remember that. And it's relevant to all industries also. You know, you have bad lawyers, you have good lawyers, you have bad doctors, you have good doctors, you have bad bankers, you have good bankers. So for every person who is not good, there will be a good person there. Just last parting comment, I just want to leave you with a thought which I feel is very critical for your success. Okay, of course, all this is something which is a guidance which I tried to give you as to how your performance will be evaluated when you go in an organization. But something which is very, very core is that you need to stick to the core values which are important for an employee to do well, or for a person to do well for that matter. Mr. Dev spoke about integrity. Okay, if anybody can just tell me what is integrity? What do you understand by integrity? Anybody, you can just, whatever comes to your mind, what do you understand by integrity? Very good. Any more, anybody wants to participate?
Hello.
Honesty. Sorry, consideration? Okay, so that is, okay. Anybody more wants to take a shot at? Unified. Okay. All of you have role models. Who is your role model?
Vittal Kamath.
Vittal Kamath. Very good. Anybody else? Come on, you must be having role models, definitely.
Indra Nooyi.
Okay. See, basically, normally, whom do you consider as your role model? Okay, you consider your role model someone who you consider to be perfect. Okay, so for example, in the Indian Hindu society, Sri Ram is considered as Purushottam, which means he is someone who is whom you define by whatever is right. Okay, as students, when you are starting off your life in the corporate world, not just the corporate world, in your personal life also, the critical thing that will define your success is going to be how true you are to your values. Okay, whether you are able to behave in the right manner, especially when nobody is looking at you. Okay, जब क्लास में टीचर होती है तो छोटे बच्चे भी चुप बैठते हैं. Okay, what sets the bright student from the rest is when there is nobody who is going to monitor his. So for example, if you are no one is really pushing you to study, but you are studying because you want to do well. Okay, whether you are really taking that one step ahead and doing something for an old relative because she is alone at home, you visit her once a month. So integrity is that value which guarantees all other values. Okay, and I think for the younger generation today, I think it's we can learn a lot from all of you, but at the same time, it is very critical that you understand that if you stick to integrity, if you stick to the core values, okay, success will be yours. It may take time. The path may seem a little bit more difficult, a little bit more foolish, because today, someone who is straightforward is considered probably a misfit. Okay, but I feel that whoever is straightforward will ultimately, life will straighten up for him. So my final message to all of you is that just be true to yourself. Don't, in MBA colleges, I have seen students try to show something which they are not. Don't do that. Don't try to be extroverted, or don't try to speak when you don't want to speak. Okay, just be yourself. Okay, and of course try and pick up the good qualities from your peers, from whoever you follow, and try and imbibe those qualities in you. Okay, because you are what you are. You have reached this stage because of your own qualities. It's not because of anybody else. So just believe in yourself, and if you believe in yourself and stick to integrity, success will be yours. I am really thankful to all of you. Thanks.
I think the key takeaway in Mr. Marathe's address was that be yourself, do not try to be pretend or be someone else. With this, we come to the end of our pre-lunch session. I now request our Honorable Director, Dr. Sriram Nerlekar, to felicitate Mr. Marathe.